So Justin Walley is highly regarded as a massive reach. Maybe not a massive reach for the Indianapolis Colts and Chris Ballard, but he is considered pretty much, okay, the Colts drafted him too high. Why was he drafted this high? He was maybe not even supposed to be drafted till the 5th or 6th round, but the Colts are taking are taking a chance on him in the 3rd round. It was early in the 3rd too. But let me tell you something. This kid seems like he's versatile. From the report I read on Draft Buzz, had to read into him a little bit. I'll link that in the description if you'd like to go check it out. It's actually, Draft Buzz gives you a lot of really good weaknesses, strengths, the bio, tells you all about the player. So Draft Buzz is pretty cool. I'll link that in the description if you'd like to read that. So what I got from his stuff is he's a hardworking kid. Of course, everyone Chris Ballard drafts, great character, work hard, put their head down. For the most part, they're quiet, put their head down, they work hard. That's it. That's a Chris Ballard type of a guy. This seems like a Lou Anarumo type of guy. He's very versatile. He could play man. He could play zone. He's not the fastest, but he's got some decent. He's got good speed, 4.4. That's good. It's not bad. It's not great, but I mean it's good enough. He's 5'10", so he's not the biggest of corners, but he's around, I'd say, a little less than average height maybe. But I was kind of thinking maybe the Colts are gearing up to move on from Kenny Moore. I think this is Kenny Moore's last year on his contract, kind of like similar to the Jalen Travis pick and maybe even the JT Tui Malolo Malolu. Okay, that's enough. I think the Colts want to replace Kwity Paye with him, as JT is a really good run blocker himself, and he has a lot of upside in terms of passing the rusher and getting pressure on the quarterback. Justin Walley, though. Back to Justin Walley. 5'10", not the biggest of guys, but not the smallest of guys either. I think this guy could be a good depth piece, but I mainly think the Colts are looking ahead, and they're thinking Kenny Moore's getting a little older. I think he just hit 30. Let's check really fast. I believe Kenny Moore just hit 30. So let's check that really fast. But it's kind of just like, okay, you want to get ready to get someone ready to fill in that spot. Maybe can be a decent player. Kenny Moore is a very good slot cornerback. He's one of the better ones in the league. 29 years old. He's almost there. So, and I believe this is last year of his contract. If not, it's close. Make a try to mute my microphone. I'd be here talking, and you guys would be hearing nothing. You guys would be clicked off by now. But Justin Walley, I like this pick because it's not necessarily a needy pick. It's not a scrambling pick. It's okay, I'm getting ready to lock in for the future. I'm getting ready to move on from, to potentially move on from Kenny Moore, who's been a superstar, has been awesome. And, sometimes you take that for granted, how good we have it in the slot. Boundary has not been good for us, but in the slot we have it pretty good with Kenny Moore. Even though it's easy to overlook it considering how bad the secondary has been as a whole. But Kenny Moore, he's done a really good job, and don't forget that puts a lot more stress on him as well when the rest of the secondary isn't playing good. It puts a lot more stress on him, makes his job that much more difficult. So it's important getting a couple of really high-end, really talented guys in there. You got Cam Bynum, you got Shavarius Ward. And then, Justin Walley is a guy you draft in the 3rd round. Potentially, maybe he could play the boundary a little bit. He's a versatile piece. And Lou Anarumo, he likes versatile pieces. His defense is very versatile. He likes to game plan per team. He doesn't say, "Hey, I'm going to run cover 2 all the time." He doesn't say, "Hey, I'm cover 2 guy. I'm cover 3 guy." I'm a blitz guy. No, he's open to all of it. He could be aggressive. He could be conservative. He knows how to call the good defenses against the best offenses in the league. And if you give him the pieces, you give him, the ammunition and the power that he needs to get these guys ready, get this defense ready to be able to play defense against some of these better quarterbacks, these better teams, which the Colts have not been able to do in a very long time. We've struggled against the better teams. We've even struggled versus some of the worst quarterbacks. A little throwback really quick to the Giants game last year. Don't need to explain it. Drew Lock killed us. Not going to get into that. We'll move on from that, but it's just an example I want to point back to. But Lou Anarumo, the difference with the Colts and the Bengals is the Colts are actually spending money on defense. They're not afraid to spend money on defense or go out there and going to invest in defense. The Bengals are practically spending all their money on offense almost, so they don't have a lot of money invested into the defense. So, when you come to a team that's going to give you the ammunition, and the firepower, this defense is going to look even better than it has been with the Bengals. And last year it didn't look too good, but he was let go for a reason. But I think the Bengals made a mistake letting him go. The Bengals didn't really invest into that side of the ball, so a little bit of a disadvantage there for Lou. But now he's coming to a place where, yeah, they're going to invest into him. They're going to invest into his side of the football. So he's going to have a really fun opportunity to build and develop a defense that's going to be stifling the best offenses in the league, which very important. When you're in the AFC, maybe it's not about completely stopping your opponent, but you have to find a way to slow them down. You have to find a way to get a turnover or two to help your offense out, because a guy like Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, the list goes on and on. Bo Nix is developing. I would say Tua, but, he doesn't really have a good cast around him, or Herbert. Let's look at the more well-rounded offense or just the superstar quarterbacks. And, on top of that, they are well-rounded offenses like the Chiefs offense, like the Bills offense, like the Ravens offense. It's not just the insane quarterbacks, which they do help elevate the rest of the offense, but the rest of the offenses on those teams are put together, at least somewhat. For the most part. So I'm excited for Lou. A lot of people are saying that this is a reach, but I think it's a pick. I think it's something that you look at, if you want to look at it, in a positive way in your own lens, or from my lens anyways. I see it as, it's not a needy pick. It's not a scrambling pick. It's like, okay, let's draft this guy. Maybe he's a little lower on other people's boards, but this is our guy. This is Lou's guy. So let's get him. Let's get him in here. Let's see what we can do with him. See, maybe he can even play on the boundary. 5'10", maybe he's not the biggest, but that doesn't mean he can't be a damn good corner on the boundary. He's going to bring competition to Jalen Jones, to all the other guys in the room. So that's to Julius Brents. I could see Julius Brents being a cut this offseason. He hasn't been healthy. When he's on the field, he hasn't been enough. I have not been a fan of Julius Brents. There was a Ravens game where he forced a fumble, kind of changed the tide and the momentum of the whole game. I believe that wasn't the Carson Wentz year. That might have been Gardner Minshew year, when AR got hurt and Minshew was starting. I think that was a game that Minshew started, or it could have been AR. I'm pretty sure it was Minshew, but that just goes to show you. He had one good play. That's one highlight from his career. I can't remember anything else. Only thing else I can remember is him getting beat and just not playing good, or being hurt. That's just the flat out truth. I'm not gonna sit here and sugarcoat it or candy coat it. I'm gonna tell you how it is. I'm gonna tell you what I see, what I don't see. I'm not here to blow smoke up no one's butt. I'm here to tell you the truth and what I see. I'm not putting on no show. But Justin Walley, a lot of people regarding as a reach, but if you look at it the way I'm looking at it, like I said many times already, it's not that bad of a pick. He could, like I said, there's many possibilities. Maybe he will develop into a good boundary cornerback. Either way, he's providing competition, which is going to help elevate other players and help other players push regardless. But, just because a lot of people are saying this was a reach, or it could be a reach, doesn't mean he's going to be a bad player by any means. Remember when drafted Shaquille Leonard, Darius Leonard, which you would know him by more since he, towards the end of his career, Shaq. It was a year or two, barely. Very unfortunate how his career ended. But Shaquille Leonard, Darius Leonard, he was graded as like one of the worst picks in the NFL draft. He was drafted in the high second round with one of those picks how he traded back with the Jets. Massive trade back package. And look how he turned. Well, you can't really look at the way his career ended. That's just what it is. It happens to some people. But if you look at how he played and how good he was, my point being is, just because a player isn't high on other people's boards doesn't mean that he's not going to be good. Okay? We have a very calculated staff. We have a very calculated GM. They know what they're doing. Lou knows what he's doing. I think we'll be fine. I'm not too worried. I think Wally will turn out to be a decent player. We'll see. You never know. He's drafted in third. You really never know. Maybe he'll be a superstar. Maybe he won't be anything. Maybe he'll be cut. You never know. But I'm just saying, just because other people are saying he's not good doesn't mean that he's not good. Or they're saying that was a reach doesn't mean it's a bad pick. Don't get it twisted. But Justin Walley, decent pickup. Not according to a lot of people, but if you dive into it a little bit, look into the future, I think it's a good draft, getting ready for the future. And, if they're high on their board, take them. You know what I mean? Maybe they didn't want anybody else taking them or snatching them up. So they said, all right, we're going to take them here, and we're not going to take the chance. So not like there was any massive need at that point either. or I'm just gonna keep rambling on and keep saying the same old bull crap. You guys want to get out of here? I respect your time. So appreciate you guys for joining us today. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to like, subscribe, put that post notification bell on so you don't miss any future videos. We're back here being consistent. Just Arrival. Go check out Just Arrival episode. Colts fan and Texans fan podcast. DJ AB Cool versus Head of the Table, aka Aaron. Or Aaron, aka Head of the Table, whatever. But go check that out, that latest episode out. Go check my JT episode out. Go check the Dallas Clark. We've got a couple videos up on some players that the Colts have drafted so far. Go check those out. Go check other videos out. Put the post notification bell on so you don't miss any videos coming out in the future. I appreciate you guys. JDW's. I'm just gonna say this is Jason. Horseshoe Hustle, bringing you the Horseshoe Hustle represented by the JDW Sports Network. That is a mouthful. I need to figure that out, but we'll see. JDW Sports Network, Jason. I'll catch you guys later.